Tony. I'm Mike. We're here to watch the world burn. This episode
40.
It is 40.
Yes.
Holy shit, the big 4-0.
We are officially over the hill.
Yes. That's crazy. And appropriate enough, it's an older film, 1955, Rebel Without a Cause, American coming-of-age story, released by Warner Brothers October 27th, 1955, which is just like a month or so after James Dean's death. Like, he had the car crash. I didn't realize it was that close.
Yeah. He only made 3 big films throughout the course of his career. And I'm going to confess something to you. Mm-hmm. This is the first time I've watched one. And I'll tell you why. Let me explain that a little bit.
Okay.
Marilyn Monroe has this huge media presence, even now. She's still and I've watched multiple Marilyn Monroe films, and I'm just going to say, I don't get it. Is she an attractive woman? Yeah, but was she an extraordinary actress? I never thought so.
Yeah, but we see it all the time. It even happens now.
It does.
There's plenty of actresses that should not be in front of a camera.
You're not wrong.
Well, let me rephrase that. Should not be in front of a rolling camera.
So,
you do stills all you want.
I was going to say, it's not that she can't act. It's just I never found her that magnetic a personality. And I always thought, well, I was really unimpressed with Marilyn Monroe, so I'll probably be pretty unimpressed with James Dean. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was wrong.
Fair enough.
This is very Brando-esque.
Funny you should mention that, because that'll come into play later.
So anyway, tell us about the production. Tell us about the budget and all that good stuff.
All right. So it was directed by Nicholas Ray. Mm-hmm. Screenplay by Stuart Stern Irving. And the story also by Nicholas Ray. And it was produced by David Weishart. It stars James Dean as Jim Stark. Natalie Wood as Judy. A funny thing about Natalie Wood, she almost didn't get this part because the producer didn't think she was juvenile delinquent enough.
I kind of get it, but
well, she got into a car accident out partying one night, and that sealed the deal. She was apparently juvenile delinquent enough to help seal that one up.
I was going to say, there's also Sal Mineo is in this.
Yeah, as John Plato.
And I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, this is Dennis Hopper's first film.
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm not positive on that one, but he looks like he's 12 in this.
We'll confirm right here.
Yeah, so, but who else was cast-wise in here?
We had Jim Backus as Frank Stark, who some of your older folks will recognize from Gilligan's Island.
Yes.
Here, place your right hand on this pile of currency. No, don't clutch, my friend.
Yes.
Thurston Howell III. Ann Dorian. Ann Dorian as Carol Stark. Corey Allen as Buzz Gunderson. And Edward Platt as Inspector Ray Fremick. The budget was $1.5 million. It grossed $7.2. So not the best, but not the worst. It was Warner Brothers' second highest film that year.
That not surprised me at all. And actually, $1.5 million for back then was a big budget film. And I'm sure a lot more of that had to do with the talent than anything else, because these were all known quantities at this particular point. And production value-wise, it's shot in color for 1955, which was still an expensive process. And this is only 10 years after World War II. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that kind of adds up. But yeah, they were expecting this to be a big marquee film for them, and it was.
It was.
I will say that what they earned box office-wise is nothing compared to like the legs that this film has. So
there's that. But it got mixed reviews. It wasn't like this universally praised thing that it is now. And I think it's still kind of misunderstood. I think a lot of things still fly over people's heads with this one. We'll get into it in a minute, we'll talk about that once we get through the plot and all that fun stuff. But do you actually want to talk about how the reviews went, or you want to talk about how the reviews went?
No, tell me about
after?
the reviews, because I did homework on the movie, but I did not do homework on like the background of the film on this one.
So one of them was like, it was excessively violent, brutal, and disturbing. Another one was like a weird graphic, sorry,
Depictions?
Thank you. Depiction of teenage characters and that. So it's like the two big ones that like stuck out. But it's like, well, nobody realized or even talked about the relationships between the parents and how they kind of led to these events. You know, like everybody focuses on like what happened, not what caused these events to happen, which was completely.
It sounds like a lot of reviewers missed the point that this wasn't about being sensational or sensationalizing adolescent bad behavior. This was about kind of exploring it and entertaining it and looking at the causes of it. So
exactly, and there's a lot of stuff in here that still happens today. I don't know about the whole chicken thing, driving off cars off cliff. But the stealing of cars and being drunk and and then parents just abandoning children or here. We're getting way too deep in the woods in this, so let's get to the plot, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty.
Well, I'm going to keep the plot really simple on this one. I'm just going to say that this is basically Jim. His family just moved to a new town. He's starting a new school. He is the unknown character in all this. It opens up with him getting arrested for being drunk in public.
Well, I don't see what's so bad about taking a little drink.
You don't?
No, I definitely
He's
don't.
a minor, Mr. Stark, and it looks to me like he had more than a little drink.
And it takes our action to the police station and him being interviewed by a cop who's trying to, basically say, hey, what's the problem? What's the matter with you? What are the issues? And Jim's very blunt and open about the fact that his parents and their relationship and having to live in that house is just more or less driving him insane.
You're tearing me apart!
What?
You say one thing, he says another, and everybody changes back again!
Natalie Wood is also at the police station and kind of discussing very similar issues.
He called me a dirty tramp. My own father.
It leads to them actually meet. He sees her and they meet on the way to the first day of school the next morning. And Jim is the new kid.
Well, hang on a second before you even get that far. Plato is also in there. All three of our main characters in the police station at the same time for different things.
You're shivering, John. Are you cold? On my jacket?
In Plato's case, he was there because I think he was killing small animals or some shit like that.
Yeah, I believe they said he shot a dog, I think is what they had said. So, which again, not at all what Paula Abdul led me to expect from that whole intro scene. I was expecting teens dealing with their own stuff and their parents, bad relationships. I was not expecting future serial killers of America to show up in the LA County Police Station. So,
let me ask you something, Rick. How's a guy supposed to grow up in the middle of that, huh? You tell me that?
Jim runs into Judy. Wow, that just totally clicked for me. You hear Jim and Judy thrown around a lot, and I didn't realize it was actually a reference to this film. Jim and Judy meet walking on the way to school, and they're both very cordial and polite, and they actually kind of start this budding friendship.
No.
She's a little saucy to him,
Yeah,
but he
she's
takes
extremely
it in stride.
saucy. He does take it in stride.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't exactly say it was super cordial.
Hi. I've seen you before.
Well, stop the world.
You don't have to be unfriendly.
Well, now that's true.
And stuff like that. She gives him a rash of shit. It is playful.
But I was gonna say in a flirty kind of way, not in a ew, you're the new kid, gross, don't talk to me. I've been here forever. You're one of them. Go sit over there.
But she comes across like that to him.
So, well, I don't think so, because he look, he got the thumbs up. He had the green light.
Which way is it to University and 10th?
It's that way.
Oh, it's that way. That way.
He knew what was going on. So anyway, they go to school, and Jim very quickly gets schooled into the clique that Natalie Wood's character runs with, which they're kind of the ruffians. They're the troublemakers in school.
Very much so.
There's a school field trip, and they go to Griffith Observatory, and they introduce the idea of nihilism, that nothing is really worthwhile because we're all going to wind up dead anyway.
We will disappear into the blackness of the space from which we came, destroyed as we began in a burst of gas and fire.
And Jim apparently tries to be funny, fails horribly at it.
Oh yeah, falls flat on his face.
And then gets into a fight with Buzz outside of Griffith Observatory that starts off with some shoving and hitting and winds up as a knife fight.
Oh! Hey, Toro! Hey, Toro!
But not with the intent of harming, just with the intent of drawing blood. So I guess that makes it okay. They then, after that fight gets broken up, agree that they're going to meet up and they are going to have a duel of sorts using old cars. Jim goes home and he doesn't want to go through with it, but he doesn't want to be seen as a coward because he sees his father as a coward. And he asks his
And this is
dad,
the whole thing from, if you watched Back to the Future, the sequels, where Marty doesn't be called Chicken. This is where it comes from, because when they call him Chicken, he freaks the fuck out.
So, and Jim does too. That being said, he sneaks out, he goes to it, and they decide that they are going to prove just how tough they are, how brave they are, by driving their cars as fast as they can towards a cliff, and they're going to jump out at the last second, and whoever jumps first loses. Now, a couple things happen leading up to this. Number one, Jim and Buzz have a bit of a conversation, and they both kind of realize that they kind of like each other.
You know something? I like you. You know that?
That they could be friends, that it could all work out, but...
And it probably would have too, because you could tell there was a kindred spirits
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah, they're gonna be buddies after this.
And
well, they would have been.
They would have been. Buzz's sleeve gets stuck when he tries to open the door to jump, and his car goes off the cliff with him in it. Then everybody just decides to scatter to the four winds, and they go running away because they know that the cops are coming. They know somebody's reported it.
Yeah.
And
long story short, just to kind of cut to the chase on this, because it's getting kind of long-winded here. Jim ends up going to the cops because he feels like he has to. So he feels like it's the right thing to do. While he's there, the other members of Buzz's gang are there and I think they rat him out. So they go chasing after him. Along the way, he runs into Plato. No, I'm sorry, he runs into Judy, and him and Judy run to the abandoned mansion. Plato finds them there because Plato pointed out the planetarium. Hey, there's this abandoned mansion. I like to hang out there sometimes when I'm feeling low. Whistle when you're low, people. So anyway, so they go up there. The ruffians end up finding him there too. There's a shootout, and people die. And if you want to give spoilers, go ahead.
no, I don't want to give spoilers, because honestly, I'm just going to say this flat out. You should watch this. This movie was far better than I was expecting, and far more poignant and far more relevant. Anybody that thinks that because this movie is 70 years old, that it doesn't have anything to say that's current now, you're kidding yourself. This is a perfect example of a film that is every bit as relevant now. Now, I will say this. Some of the psychology is wrong in this, but this is very early in the study, in the field, but the issues are all still there.
They're all there.
In very real ways. And what we're dealing with here is Jim, who can't stand his father, his model of what's it supposed to be a man, because his father is cowardly and indecisive and is constantly...
He's a pushover.
He's a complete pushover. And then he sees his mom just verbally and physically beat on this man.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Why should you be the only one involved?
Well, far be it from me to tell you what to do,
Are
but
you
there's...
going to preach? Do we have to listen to a sermon now?
Well, I'm only trying to tell him what you mean. You can't be idealistic all your life, Jim. Nobody thanks you for sticking your neck
Except to
out.
yourself.
But it's not physical so much as
But
it
she
is
mentally
emotional.
abuses the fuck out of it and runs over him in every opportunity. And apparently the mother-in-law does too.
And the thing is that every time Jim acts out and has an issue with this, what they do is they pack up and they move to a new town and start a new school, and they're hoping that they can start with a clean slate. And Jim finally has that epiphany that, you know what, there is no clean slate. This baggage follows us everywhere because it's in us. It's us.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway because we're moving.
I'm not tearing me loose again. Well, this is news to me. Just why are we moving?
Oh, do I have to spell
You
it
are
out?
not going to use me as an excuse again.
I don't.
Every time you can't face yourself, you blame it on me.
That is not true.
Judy's character, on the other hand, Judy is growing up into a strapping, fetching young woman, and she is feeling most definitely unloved because she misses the connection that she had with her father when she was a child. And she tries to show affection to her father, and her father finds it completely inappropriate because
she's got tits now.
Hi, rascal.
Hi. Girls don't love their father. Since when? Since I got to be 16?
Stop that. Sit down.
because Judy's hot. So
I mean, which sure, there's some things that are inappropriate stuff like that, but giving your daddy a kiss is meaningless and pointless. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
Meaningless and pointless until it's in the wrong crowd or the wrong audience. It's not the affection that she wants to display towards her father that's the problem. It's everybody in their father and mother's social circle and what they'll think about it is the problem.
Right, exactly. But in a normal, healthy household,
it's not even an issue. Yeah, but this is not a normal or healthy household. It's a very fucked up and dysfunctional one.
And he literally shoves her away in this case. So there is physicality in this household.
And berates her several times.
Yes.
And also basically more or less calls her a whore without calling her a whore to her face because she was out. She came home late. What were you out doing? Who were you with? Oh, you're running with those people. Oh, I don't even want to. It's again. You know this family. You've met these people. You've heard this conversation or overheard this conversation. Mm-hmm. And then to get to the piece de resistance, you have Plato. I'm sorry, the philosopher, not the planet. Or the god.
Disney.
Yeah, the god of the netherworld. You understand why there's a Freudian slip in that one because he is dealing with abandonment issues. His father left his mother. They live in Los Angeles. His father lives in New York, and the only connection that he has with his father is his dad sends money.
Hey, you want to come home with me? I mean, there's nobody home at my house. Heck, I'm not tired. Are you? See, I don't have too many people I can talk to.
Who has?
If you want to come, we could talk, and in the morning we could have breakfast like my dad used to.
His mother, on the other hand, has decided that she's free now and she's going to run off and enjoy her life. And I believe the entire stretch of the film, she's in Hawaii.
Yeah, she's gone.
Yeah.
She's gone. The only person that's there is the
housekeeper.
The living housekeeper who does her best.
And so he's dealing with abandonment is really
so
what it boils down to.
Here's one thing, and I don't know if it was implied or if it just naturally came through the actor because the actor is bisexual.
Are you cold? Here. It's warm. Here. My jacket. It's warm.
Can I keep it?
Well, what do you think?
But homosexual overtones, which would then lead to, the dad like, oh, geez, my son's gay, I'm out of here. And then the mom probably doing the same thing, maybe not. But either way, they didn't want to deal with it because being gay in the 50s was not cool.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination. So I don't know if that was intentional or if that's just subtly came through because of the actor.
I think it's absolutely intentional, and I think that it was put in there because in the 50s it was a closet thing. It was a we don't talk about it thing and a not polite company. So they didn't want to actually say it in words, so they told that portion of the story visually, and they demonstrated that because he gets way too attached way too quickly to James Dean's
Yes.
character. And yeah, there is most definitely a attraction that is kind of put on there, just the way that Salminia's character is looking at him. So
Yes.
I can most definitely tell you that that's not an accident. You've definitely read that correctly. And again, it just goes to show that, the abandonment issues and the, potential, the fact that he may be a homosexual that's, starting to wake up to the fact that he may be gay. But in the 50s, that was no.
No.
No,
you couldn't even hint at it in media in the 50s.
And I think that's exactly why it's handled the way that it is, because they got to hint at it, but then they could say, oh, no, that's not what we're going with here. So he's got the mixed bag of psychological problems.
And they actually kind of cover it a little bit by saying he looks at Jim and Judy as parents.
Yeah.
He's just like substituting them for parents.
You're not wrong on that one. It was a far more engaging film than I was expecting.
Yeah.
And it deserves its spot in the upper echelon of cinema that should not be lost.
Yeah, he's my best friend.
What's he like?
I don't know. You have to get to know him. He doesn't say much, but when he does, he means it.
But I mean, I haven't seen this since high school. It's been a long time. And I wasn't really paying attention to it. It's a 50s film. And it's James Dean. It's like, yeah, whatever. He acts fine. Natalie Woods ain't great. Whatever. Don't care. And a lot of the stuff, it's kind of like, I don't race cars off of cliffs and shit like that. But there's a lot of stuff in there that, that did do, or my friends did, and stupid stuff like that. So watching it now through older eyes, I've developed a better appreciation for it. And it is an absolute classic. And it's a timeless movie. These things will always be going on. There'll always be kids that are having issues, whatever they are, and they're trying to communicate with their parents, and the parents just ain't catching it, or vice versa, or maybe they see
they're
it, but
oblivious to it.
Or they just don't know how to go about helping them or giving them help.
Yeah,
is the other thing too, which is sad, because like I said, it still happens today, and there's plenty of kids out there that are having issues and unfortunately check out.
What I appreciate most about this film is its honesty. There's a rawness. Brutal. There's a rawness to this film. And James, it does not watch like an old-timey movie. Even Thurston Howell's performance, it all feels very genuine.
Except for he's rocking the apron.
Shh. Listen, no, I'd better clean it up before she sees it.
Let her see it.
What?
Let her see it. What can happen? She's...
So, actually, I
that's the kind of thing that they did in the 50s. There's a thing, you had the apron on when you're doing household chores and stuff like that. But, anyway.
And then, that whole scene where he's got the apron and he's taking food up to his wife who's not feeling well, and he drops the tray, and James Dean sees that, and he's appalled by it. His whole, like, why are you dressed like that? What are you doing? What is this girly thing you're doing here? So, like, that whole identity of what is macho, what is masculine versus feminine, and it's poignant. It's fascinating. It's well handled. It's well done, and none of it ever seems over the top. So
it's very well done. And again, going back to some of the critiques, saying that all this stuff is like excessive and shit like that. It's like, well, I've known plenty of people that have gone out, stayed out late, and got drunk when they were kids. Hey, that was me. Or known girls that had bad relationships with their fathers, and some gay people that are closeted. You've had friends that are like that as well.
Yeah.
So all the stuff tracks, all the stuff plays out. And then. So really quickly, just changing gears on you real quick, because you mentioned Marlon Brando.
I was actually going to ask you about that.
And so that was one of the critiques that some of these people had, was like, James Dean just basically ripped off Marlon Brando's style of acting.
The face and your fingers are disgustingly greasy. Go wash up and then help me clear the table.
That's how I'm going to clear the table. Don't you ever talk that way to me.
So they took it as him kind of, not cheating, but
James Dean
like outright copying somebody's style and not giving like a wholly original performance.
I can get the comparison, but at the same time, I'm just going to say that Marlon Brando was like one of the first. He was a very off-the-cuff kind of whatever just felt right in front of the camera. He wasn't stagey. He wasn't playing to the camera. He wasn't like he was trying to inhabit the character that he was dealing with. So what's funny is that that's kind of what's expected from an actor at this point. But back then, because a lot of films had very, almost theater-esque sort of acting, play to the people that are sitting in the cheap seats,
right,
kind
exactly.
of thing. that everything was big and staccato and this feels very
classically trained.
Yeah, it feels very naturalistic. I enjoyed this a lot more than I expected to be perfectly honest. I'm going to go back and watch Giant because that's another classic.
The other one was
James Dean film.
East of Eden.
East of Eden. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So
real quickly, going back to Brando, when did Streetcar Named Desire come out? Was that I guess that had been before this.
53.
Okay.
It was a little bit before
I'm
this.
assuming that's what they're drawing the comparison to. I've never seen the movie, but you have.
I will tell you that if you watch Rebel Without a Cause and you enjoy this, and the fact that it's very honest in dealing with its adult themes, most definitely watch the flip side of the coin of Streetcar Named Desire because it deals with people that are heading into their silver years and not handling it well. And it's still, again, a very relevant, honest movie with its themes and its subject matter, which, all that still tracks. I would actually say that right there would be a perfect bookend to this. If you watch this and enjoy it, most definitely throw that on. I'll also recommend Butterfield 8 with Elizabeth Taylor. That's a very frank and open discussion about sex and sexuality in the late 50s, early 60s. And
I didn't enjoy Butterfield 8.
I don't know that you're supposed to enjoy it, but you're supposed to kind of see like this flawed character who decided that she didn't want to get married and have the standard life, and how she's paying the price for it down the road, which is it's kind of preachy, but in the same way, it's also it's honest enough.
I'll give it that. It's honest all day long, but she is not a likable character either, and it's like, did she deserve what happened to her in the end? No, but. Man, no. That movie's definitely not a recommend for me.
I'll also say
anyways.
Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
It is a recommend for me. It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, so...
my boy fucking Paul Newman.
Paul Newman and
Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah.
Man, those two on screen together.
And written by Tennessee Williams, and powerhouse performances all around, and it's beautifully shot and beautifully edited. And if you don't understand why people thought Elizabeth Taylor was smoking hot, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof will cure you of that notion that she wasn't.
It did for me, because I didn't get it either. When she was like in her trailing years of her life, and it was like, oh, Elizabeth Taylor, la 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 la. I was like, what? But Elizabeth Taylor back in the day, yes. Very, very, very attractive. So. I don't know what else we got to say about this.
I got one thing to ask you, and it's the most important question of this episode. So, Mike, what are we watching next?
We're going to do Slapshot with Paul Newman. Classic comedy about a hockey team that's going defunct.
And looking for a new buyer.
Yeah, in Florida. Here's all the fine snatched on FLA.
You can't have ice in Florida. Unless it's in your drink.
There's so many good quotes in that movie. That movie's fantastic. So, anyways.
We will catch you next time.